much as Rockstar encourages everyone to play GTA Online with friends, the unfortunate reality of it is that a huge chunk of the game's player base consists of lone wolves who don't have any other choice. Whether it's an unstable internet connection, a lack of GTA Online players in their local friend group, or a difference in time zones between their online friends, there are simply too many variables that prevent such folks from reliably finding a 2 or 3 man squad for heists like the Doomsday Heist or even the Diamond Casino Heist. However, Rockstar also does make it very easy for you to make loads of money and have plenty of fun as a solo player. Pretty much every business in the game can be run solo within an invite-only lobby, including CEO and MC businesses that have multi-vehicle deliveries and source missions. An added benefit of playing like this is that you also protect yourself from the annoying griefers and hackers who have been terrorizing PC public lobbies for over a decade at this point. With that in mind though, I decided to create this list of the 10 must-own items for solo players who want access to everything that GTA Online has to offer. And while you can't buy friends on Maze Bank foreclosures, you can certainly buy every item on this list. I deliberately picked vehicles and businesses that anybody can buy with very little experience just by doing a few Cluck and Bell farm raids or No Way Out quest lines. And if you don't want to spend any money at all, I've got you covered, because that's what the Acid Lab is. A business that can be yours for the grand total of $0. Okay, now before the actually brigade shows up, let me explain what I mean. First, you go here to this golden R icon on your map. That's Ron, and he's going to introduce you to Dax and the rest of the Fooligans. Then you get a series of missions called First Dose. There are 6 in total, and by doing the last one, you'll unlock this vehicle right here. It's called a Brigade 6x6, and even though you can buy it on Warstock for $1.4 million, you really shouldn't, because the game hands you one for free. And here's the best part. You get paid for each one of these missions in the First Dose questline, and then at the end, you'll even get a first-time completion bonus. The money you make from doing all of these Drug Wars missions comes out to around $800,000 in total if we also include the 5 Last Dose missions at the end. And guess how much you need to install the Acid Lab equipment in the back of your Brigade? That's right, $750,000. So now I think you can see why I call the Acid Lab a quote-unquote free business, because not only are you getting this exceptional vehicle for no real investment, but the game even hands you the money you need for the equipment inside by the end of it as well once you unlock it. And my next must-have item on this list is tied to the Acid Lab, or rather the series of missions that you do to get the Acid Lab. Meet the most powerful Imani Tech vehicle in the entire game, the Ocelot Virtue. Now some might argue that the Buffalo EVX is better, and we can have that debate all day, but I think the Virtue is simply unbeatable value for money, because first off, it's free if you do the 5 Last Dose missions. Then once you get an agency, you can drive inside that vehicle workshop with your Virtue and outfit it with a missile lock-on jammer, as well as additional armor plating that allows this vehicle to tank up to 12 RPGs and 12 homing missiles. And what this means for you as a player is that you can drive this thing around in a packed public lobby full of Jet and Oppressor users and not have to worry at all about being blown up by one of these griefers. Mainly because nobody can actually get a homing missile lock on your Virtue, and even if there's some Giga Sweatlord free aiming their rockets to get around your lock-on jammer, they still need to hit you 12 times. And with how fast the Virtue accelerates, I don't see that happening unless they're actual no-lifers and just tail you around the map for 30 minutes straight. And remember, the Virtue isn't like the Kuruma. It actually allows you to throw sticky bombs out of the windows, so you aren't just some passive damage tank. You have plenty of offensive potential while you're zooming around at 119 miles an hour inside of this armored cocoon. But sometimes 119 miles per hour just doesn't cut it in this game, and that's when you bring out the really fast stuff, like for example, the HSW Hakuchou Drag. Now this isn't actually the fastest land vehicle by top speed, that would be the Banshee GTS. However, the Drag accelerates faster and is about 1/5 as wide as the GTS, which means it can cut through peak rush hour Los Santos traffic like a scalpel going through butter. And since it's a bike, you can take shortcuts both on-road and off-road that simply aren't possible with a Banshee GTS or even the Grotti Stinger TT, or really any other fast car for that matter. Is the Hakuchou Drag worse than some other bikes at taking turns? Yes, it is a drag bike. Does it have the best brakes? No, of course not. But does any of that matter when you're trying to get from point A to point B in the least amount of time? Not at all, because the Hakuchou's handling and brakes don't have to be the best just to get around the map. Once you master the brakes on the Drag and learn how to feather the throttle to get a good launch, it's going to completely blow your mind with how insanely quick this bike is. Whether I'm trying to do speedruns of the Cluck and Bell heists, the No Way Out missions, or even just bail off his bounties on the daily, I know exactly which vehicle will get the job done, and it's the the Hakucho drag. Now, if you can't afford something like a Raiju or an Oppressor just yet, if you don't have a Sparrow, this is the next best option for getting around the map fast, and you can even use it in missions where weaponized vehicles simply aren't allowed, which is also the main reason that I recommend the drag so highly to solo players. And this brings me to my next point. You also need a good mission vehicle in addition to a high top speed machine. Like, sure, the drag is good for any mission where speed trumps armor, but what if you really need that armor? For example, you're doing a no snacks and no body armor tier 4 challenge, and you absolutely cannot afford to get hit by NPCs. Well, in this situation, a drag, as fast as it is, won't work because it's a bike and your body is exposed from every single angle. However, if you're sitting inside a car like the Duke of Death or even the armored Kuruma, that stops being an issue because now you have heavy steel armor surrounding you from every angle. The Duke is free on Warstock and the Kuruma costs just $698,000, so both of these are extremely affordable even for beginners. But let's say you want to upgrade and you want something that's a bit faster, something that comes with guns or missiles or guns and missiles, something that you can use in heists where weaponized vehicles aren't allowed. Does such a car exist? Well, it does, and it's called the Vigilante, also known by some as the Batmobile. It has guns, it has homing missiles that will literally pull a 360 no-scope to hit their targets, and it even has a ginormous rocket motor strapped to the back so you can smash traffic out of your way as you race towards the objective on your minimap. Yet, despite all of the deadly gizmos built into this armored behemoth of a car, it is somehow perfectly legal to use in missions like the Dr. Dre finale and Cluck and Bell Farm raid, and that's what makes the Vigilante so special. Alternatively, if you like old school muscle and prefer a giant minigun on the roof of your car rather than homing missiles, you might want to go with the weaponized Tampa. That'll also work in missions really well, but I can only make one recommendation for the sake of this video, and so I gotta give it to the Vigilante. It's faster than the Tampa, homing missiles are easier to work with compared to a gun that you can manually aim, and the Vigilante also includes bullet resistant glass windows as well as a rear end that's entirely bulletproof, so you're heavily protected while also packing a lot of firepower under the hood. There is truly nothing better for missions, and I assure you the $3.7 million that you spend on this car will be well worth it in the long run. Next, we need to talk about weapons. You know, rifles, handguns, all that type of stuff, right? As a solo player, if you're trying to do heists and grind businesses, you really only need 5 things: a special carbine, an assault shotgun, a heavy sniper, a combat MG, and an AP pistol. And for anti-aircraft purposes, a basic homing launcher will do just fine, as you can buy it even if you're rank 1. But since I like my broomsticks, and I also like experimenting with new weapons and heists, I take it a step further. I recommend the special carbine for its excellent precision. The service carbine or carbine rifle Mark II also work out great. The railgun for enemy helicopters and cars. The minigun for killing literally anything and everything with extreme prejudice. The RPG for penetrating heavy armor. The grenade launcher for when you need lots of explosions in a really short amount of time. And the compact rifle, also for when you're on a bike, as well as the up and atomizer. That way, if you ever get a delivery vehicle stuck, you can get it unstuck with that weapon. Okay, with weapons and cars taken care of, let's now talk active money making. And in this area, you really can't go wrong with the good old Cayo Perico heist. Even if you somehow missed every single Cayo video I made on my channel, you've at least heard of this heist by now, and let me tell you, it may have been nerfed in terms of payout and cooldown since it launched, and absolutely the best way to make over $1 million in under an hour. And here's what you need to do to start it: a Kasaka submarine worth $2.2 million, and I also recommend buying the Sparrow as a moon pool upgrade for just $1.8 million on top of that, and that's honestly an absolute bargain, and it's easily the second best grinding tool in the game after the Oppressor Mk II. The Sparrow is the fastest helicopter in all of GTA Online, it spawns right next to you, and it has a supply of homing missiles that never run out, and there's practically no cooldown between these missiles, so you can spam them at will against NPCs. In addition to missions and Cayo prep, you can also use the Sparrow to grind crates for your hangar and CEO warehouses. You can also use it to assist with multiple vehicle deliveries for your bunker or MC businesses as a solo player. All you have to do is make one delivery, summon the Sparrow, fly back to the business and make another delivery after that. And this way, even as a solo player, you can do a full bunker or a full Coca-Cola lockup cell mission in under 20 to maybe 25 minutes. And for my next must-buy item, I have to mention the amazing agency business, which is easily the highest value for money purchase that you can make in all of GTA Online. Think about it. Not only are you getting the extremely lucrative Dr. Dre VIP contract, which pays you out a guaranteed $1.1 million for playing through it start to finish, but you're also getting a Mark II weapons armory in a Monitech vehicle workshop, a free Super Velito carbon helicopter, and fast travel services in the form of an SUV service. Also, in my opinion, if you're going to grind multiple heists a day, Dr. Dre beats out Cayo because of its significantly shorter cooldown of just 48 minutes versus Cayo's 2 hour and 24 minutes for a solo player. Then of course we have the Terabyte, which is a mobile headquarters, and if you own the garment factory, you can even upgrade this armored beast with a master control terminal, which makes managing all of your businesses a trivial matter. It's as easy as summoning your Terabyte to your location, stepping inside for just 15 seconds, and before you know it, all of your businesses have been resupplied, and you've even swapped out DJs at the nightclub, bringing your popularity meter back to 5 bars for 50k per day. Plus, the Terabyte now is honestly the most survivable vehicle in public lobbies once you install the Burotech missile lock-on jammer, because by default, it can already tank more missiles than an Oppressor Mk II carries, but after you add a missile lock-on jammer, it becomes such an annoying target that I guarantee the griefer will rage quit out of frustration before they manage to destroy your Terabyte. Okay, aircraft autocannons like the one on the Laser and the Hydra are still going to be a major threat to your Terabyte, but the lazy griefers that you typically run into don't have the skills to aim those cannons properly, and that's why they rely on the much easier method of griefing, which is buying an Oppressor Mk II and pressing the left bumper on whatever it locks onto. But let's say for the sake of argument here that you're not a griefer and you want to grind. Well, in that case, the Oppressor Mk II really can't be beat in my opinion. It'll take off and land anywhere you want it to, it spawns right next to you like a normal bike, and it carries some pretty amazing homing missiles. Not as good as the ones on the Vigilante, especially after the nerf in 2023, but still more than enough to ruin the day of anyone who tries to mess with you, and certainly more than good enough to deal with NPC enemies in the game. And if you own a Terabyte, you can reduce that gargantuan $8 million price tag down to just a more manageable $6 million. All you have to do is 5 client jobs from your Terabyte's console, and you'll unlock this discounted trade price. Plus, you're going to need a Terabyte anyway to install the homing missile upgrade on your Oppressor, so you might as well save up some of that Cayo cash for a few days and get the two of them together as part of a package deal. And now for the final item on my list, and this is a very special one here. I've got the brand new mansions. The reason I put the mansion after everything else on this list is because I don't want you to buy these unless you already own everything else that I've listed. Because by itself, a mansion does absolutely nothing for you if you don't at least have a few core businesses to take advantage of with the master control terminal and the production speed boost. But if you own an acid lab, a bunker, an MC business, or multiple of them, you can put that mansion production speed boost to really good use, and it's the most busted force multiplier in the entire game. And you'll see it once you use it, because it gives your passive businesses a 200% bonus to production speed, so anything that usually takes 3 hours to fill up, for example, will now just max out in just 1 hour. And you also get the most busted fast travel in the game, which teleports you directly into any warehouse, service vehicle, or property or business of your choosing, so you can easily visit each single special cargo warehouse that you own one by one and pay your technicians $7,500 to source crates for you if you don't want to travel between them individually. Or you can jump straight into your acid lab and start a delivery mission. Because of all of these quality of life features, I feel like the $12 to $16 million that you spend on a mansion is well worth it in the long run, but only if you own all of the other stuff that I've listed here. So if you don't own an Oppressor Mk II, if you don't own a Terabyte, a Kasaka, or even an agency, get those first. Then and only then should you get a mansion as a nice capstone for your criminal empire in GTA Online. But guys, that brings me to the end of today's video and guide. Are there other excellent solo-friendly businesses that I didn't mention in this video? Absolutely. The bunker, the hangar, the auto shop, the garment factory, the salvage yard. They all fall into that category, but I didn't want to make this video too long, plus I already have dedicated money-making guides for those businesses. So if you want to learn more about any one of those individual businesses, I highly recommend checking out my full guides, which you can find listed on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to drop a like on it if you found it informative. Consider subscribing to the channel if you guys are new and you want to see more GTA 5 online content just like this. Check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/hazardoushdtv for more GTA online money grinding live streams. I upload daily YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, and TikToks if you want more short form content outside of the long form. And with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios amigos.